on, guys? Black Scout Survival Late Night Live. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys had a good weekend. Did you guys see the Tommy Fury and Jake Paul? I don't care. Karine Jean-Pierre said the quiet part out loud. Check it out.
As you all saw just an hour or so ago, President Obama announced that, President Biden. Whoa.
Yeah. So it would be understandable if Jen Psaki had said that because she was the press secretary during Obama. But Karine wasn't. So that should tell you something. That should tell you something who's really in charge here, right? I'm sure a lot of guys here have iPhones. I do want to let you know about a new feature they have. You may not know about it. The clean energy nonsense that they put on it. If you notice, your iPhone has been charging a little slower recently due to a new setting Apple added in iOS 16.1, clean energy charging. With it turned on, it will only recharge the iPhone's battery when the electrical grid uses cleaner energy sources like solar or wind. You can disable it under settings, battery health and charging. So go disable that nonsense. Okay. That's why your phone is not wanting to charge. It's taking forever, but I just want to put that out there. So anyway, this is some pretty big news that no one's talking about. As usual, that's how it goes. Katie Hobbs, you guys know her. A California-based law firm has accused Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs and a few other people that we're talking election officials, mayors, judges, city councilmen, county supervisors, and so on, with receiving bribes from the Sinaloa cartel. This bribery scam used by the Sinaloa cartel is to control the state of Arizona in this election. The people mentioned in this fraud scheme was Katie Hobbs, Adrian Fontes, Mesa Mayor John Giles, Arizona House Speaker Ben Toma, and man, the list goes on. At least 3 people in Maricopa County supervisors that have had problems relating to trafficking, money laundering, and racketeering. So anyhow, we there's been speculation that election was skewed down there in Maricopa specifically. Carrie Lake was going against her and lost, and I think she was suing. However, but yeah, man, I mean, I always say where there's smoke, there's fire. A few people are reporting this, but very few. It did go viral on Twitter. Arrest Carrie Lake. I'm sorry, Katie Hobbs. And but yeah, I mean, they're talking about basically, and if you don't know, the Sinaloa cartels was led by El Chapo Guzman, a Mexican drug lord. But anyway, it was basically a scheme ran through single family homes and different things like that, where money was being transferred, and some of these properties apparently are owned by Katie Hobbs, even apparently the house that she lives in. So that can tell, I mean, drug cartels have more money than freaking anybody, the richest people in the world. They can control a lot of stuff. I mean, the control of all of Mexico, So anyway, I thought this was interesting. I thought it's more interesting that no one is talking about it. Katie Hobbs hasn't even refuted or denied these claims, which I think would, be pretty incriminating, because she's, remained completely silent and on these explosive accusations on her social media. But again, it was trending on Twitter, so she knows about it, but hadn't said anything. So you're saying that the cartels are using billions of dollars of elected officials to keep the border open, to keep their businesses going in the United States, the host asks? That would be precisely what I'm saying. Election fraud, obviously, that would benefit, because who's in charge? We need someone in charge that we can control. And yeah. So yeah, I would like to see more about this. I'd like to see where it goes after this. I am not sure we'll probably hear anything about it. These guys are so powerful that, yeah. So what we have here, also the Wuhan lab leak, we had people silenced, demonetized, deplatformed, you name it. They try to tell us cook up this story about someone eating a bat, and the coup happened. Anyhow, the U.S. Department of Energy has made a claim in an intelligence report that they gave to the White House, saying they had confidence that a laboratory leak was responsible for the coup. This is also coming after two other government agencies are now in favor of that lab leak probability. FBI also concluded that the pandemic originated from a lab leak. So all you conspiracy theorists were right, just like everything else you've been right about. It had origins coming from Wuhan. They try to say a dude ate a bat there. Come on. But there was an insider document talking about specific accidents in December 2019, and that's whenever some of the first cases began. If you remember, it was hitting I think California then, or Oregon, somewhere on the West Coast, if I recall correctly. But there's also been documentation regarding the work and research done at the Wuhan virology lab. So after all the elites did to silence you, tell us peasants to be quiet, that we don't know what we're talking about, is science, follow the science. Big tech silenced and muzzled us. You turned out to be right. They shut down your freedom of speech, didn't even let you ask a question. If you ask a question, you got a little bar at the bottom of whatever your post was. You couldn't even ask a question. But now they're admitting to it. They're admitting you're right, years later. Anyhow, since we're talking about China, China is actually now showing the world that they are in charge. Zelensky opened a meeting Xi Jinping after China proposes a peace plan. Who else proposed a peace plan? Donald Trump did. Donald Trump has been saying that for months, maybe close to a year, that they need to negotiate a peace plan. But Biden, however, has been sending, I think, $100 billion at this point in weapons to fuel and fund the war. But because Xi Jinping, the guy who's actually in control of the world right now, the world leader, he's saying propose a peace plan. Zelensky's open to it. So Zelensky's saying that he wants to meet with the Chinese counterpart, Xi Jinping, to discuss Beijing calls for ceasefire and peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. This happened on Friday. China claims to have a neutral stance on the war, but they also refuse to criticize Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. It accused Ukraine's Western allies of provoking the conflict and fanning the flames by providing Ukraine with defensive arms. I said that last week, months ago, time and time again. I've said that. Whenever this first happened, Russia was just doing workups on the border, but America kept saying, "Oh, they're planning to invade." Well, you keep hearing it, you're going to do it. So the guys weren't prepared. Even it was almost like they got pushed into the war. And we're funding it. Is Russia really going to back down if we're funding this thing? But anyhow, I thought this was very wild that now Xi Jinping says, let's talk peace, and they're wanting to talk about it. So we'll see. I know that Vladimir Putin is very close with Xi Jinping. They're allies. They're doing lots of trading, microchips, and such. But the problem is with all this is that Biden on Friday night then goes on to say this. He wanted to fan the flames after Xi Jinping calls for peace. Biden wants to fan the flames. Biden tells ABC's Muir, "We will respond if China sends weapons to Russia."
We know the Germans are now sending tanks in after the U.S. said it would send Abrams tanks as well. But we know President Zelensky continues to say what he really needs are F-16s. Will you send F-16s?
Look, we're sending him what our seasoned military thinks he needs now. He needs tanks, he needs artillery, he needs air defense, including another HIMARS. There's things he needs now that we're sending him to put him in a position to be able to make gains this spring and this summer going into the fall.
You don't think he needs F-16s now?
No, he doesn't need F-16s now.
Is that a never?
Look, first of all, the idea that we know exactly what's going to be needed a year, 2, 3 from now, but there is no basis upon which there is a rationale, according to our military now, to provide F-16s.
But you're not ruling it out
I am ruling it out for now.
for now. We know the Germans are now sending tanks.
So it's crazy. He kept asking the same question. He didn't want to answer it. We're ruling out for now. And he's saying that the war is going to last 2 or 3 years. He said here, Joe Biden said Friday that the U.S. would respond if China were to supply Russia with lethal weapons in a war against Ukraine. He said he didn't anticipate China doing so, despite warnings from the administration officials in China maybe considering the move. He says, I don't anticipate it. We haven't seen it yet, but I don't anticipate a major initiative on the part of China providing weaponry to Russia. So, but him saying that was basically an open threat. Okay. It would be the same line everyone has crossed. In other words, we were impose severe sanctions on anyone who had done that. Biden said, so there will be serious consequences. I'll characterize you with what they would be. We would respond, he said. So he didn't want to go in grave detail about it, but basically that we would respond. You know, that's an active threat, I'd say. And the problem is that Xi Jinping obviously feels like he's in control. America's weak. He keeps taunting us. He's flying balloons and everything else, shooting lasers over the Hawaii. And he doesn't care. He's not afraid of America. America's weak. We're too worried about social justice and made up issues and pushing LGBT on our armed forces, kicked most of them out because they wouldn't take the hokey pokey. And yeah, we're not focused on war fighting. So we're in a very weak situation. The problem is tonight on Fox News, they said that China said that they would send lethal support. So they just slapped Joe in the face. They want war with the U.S. It's going to happen, right? Everybody's predicting this. It's going to happen. It's not if, but when. I also have some great news to kind of go along with that. This is fantastic news. China's container missiles. Beijing is believed to be developing hidden weapons to strike enemy ports and ships. So we have these things parked all around the U.S. Hundreds, thousands of them, with all your goods, all your electronics, and all your stuff like that parked around the country. Missiles will be hidden in a container, can be lifted out, ready to be fired. They could surprise attack, like this says, cruise missile for surprise attack. They're loaded on a normal cargo ship sailing around the world, so this doesn't look military, very clandestine, like a Trojan horse, right? You see the range, the speed here, length, warhead. China, Israel, and Russia will all have shown interest in fielding missiles packed into shipping containers. This would allow China, in particular, to arm in vast civilian fleet. Of course, they probably already have it. If we're hearing about it, there's probably missiles parked all across the U.S. right now in containers, ready to fire, ready for Joe to say something dumb. So, how many of these things do we have in our ports already, guys? You may be thinking, Red Dawn, we're gonna have paratroopers, coming in and landing on your street. But what most likely will happen is missiles landing in your house, coming out of these things. These ships are stocked on all these ports. So yeah, not a good situation, but yeah, let me show you this too, just real quick. China considers sending artillery and ammunition to Russia. So yeah, they're like, we don't care what Joe Biden says. Matter of fact, you say it for us not to do it, we're gonna send it. We're gonna send it. So I like I said, I think it's not the if, but when. Everybody's predicting it. The problem with this is that the U.S. has to be ready to fight all over the world from all kinds of contingencies around the globe, whereas China, they're not the world police like we are, right? So we have to be prepared for all kinds of stuff. We'll go do all kinds of nonsense and stuff we shouldn't be meddling in. China's only worried about one thing, and that's preparing for a specific conflict, and that conflict is with the United States and destroying and overcoming the United States. So they'll be tailoring their military, their capabilities, and their training for that one mission, whereas we're not really focused on that mission. Now, I did a video a while back where Air Force General said that we should be working on that mission. Mike Pompeo also said the same thing. But we're focused on too many other things, and China's planning, training and getting tactically ready for that one mission to defeat and overcome America. So the other problem is that China is way more capable of absorbing casualties than the US. They have way more people, so they can take a ton of casualties. Obviously, I think Taiwan will be the first place they hit. They'll probably hit any outlying U.S. Allies or places we have bases at. Do I think it would make mainland U.S. troops on the ground? Probably not, but probably lots of rockets being hurled in that place. Maybe a land war in China. So if you're in the military, have fun with that. Who knows, though? They may call up everybody. They may need all of us because they're going to have way more troops they can lose than what we can. But I think the biggest thing is what Americans need to understand is that, and get educated on, is that while we have to fight and what the consequences are if we look the other way, because we've seen this time and time again through history. But Americans, because we have such a civilized, easy life here, they don't understand the hardships of the world and the hardships of conflict. History shows us that attempts to advance peace usually just in brutal war. And especially this day and age with this type of technology, this would be a catastrophic war. And I think we're looking down the nose at it. I think it's coming. I think it's close. And who knows? It could be a year, 2 years, 3 years. My personal opinion, a lot of people say 2027. That's when China's planning it. They'll plan to take Taiwan. Other people are saying 2025. But I think it really would depend on what comes down to the election, what's going to happen. If they make it where Joey's in there again, installed again, then he may wait. But if not, while we're in a weakened stance, they may go for it. Kathy Urban, good to see you. They are warmongering why our people are losing our freedoms and also dying of them poisoning our own people. Exactly. We've talked about this over and over again. Joe Biden is going to Ukraine, sending them more money and weapons. Hadn't even wanted to speak about peace, because they probably all got stocks in Halliburton and all these other, weapons manufacturers. But meanwhile, the people in Ohio getting blamed, they're blaming this stuff on Donald Trump. It's comical. It's comical. And people that constantly, these people that hate Donald Trump, they're not really Democrats. A lot of them are just people that hate Donald Trump. The thing is, guys, is that you're not going to, you're not marrying these people. No politician is ever going to look out for you. Nobody's ever going to come to save you. None of these people, don't matter red or blue. It doesn't matter, Democrat or Republican. No one's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to help you. They're going to help themselves, regardless of who they are. But the thing is you're not marrying these people. It's like a bus ride. You're getting from one location to the other, right? So the thing is that I want you to understand is that you can vote in socialism, but you have to fight your way out of it with a rifle. Okay. So any of you guys that are falling for the Democrat liberal nonsense, that socialist communist movement, you can vote your way into it, but you will have to fight your way out of it with a rifle. You're not going to ever vote your way out of it again. Go look at around the world at various countries. Look at Venezuela. Look at look at China. Just Xi Jinping just got his third term. You can't get out of it. So think real hard about what you're getting yourself into. You can hate politicians, what have you, but voting for socialist mentality will put you in a place that you're going to be stuck there, and the only way you're going to get out is to fight. Fight your own people at that. Good to see my tribe members here tonight. Good. We got a lot of new tribe members also this weekend. Good to see all you folks. See some of you guys here. T. Russell, Shogun, Sirius, Kathy Irvin, like I said, 111, 6 Killer. Good to see you guys. Mountain Ghost, Alec Barrett. Real quick before I forget, a few things. Food Bucket, if you want this hat, it comes free with the, I think this is like the last week of the kit sale. Obviously, food, you look at Ohio, you can't, they kill all your livestock. What are you going to do? But you get this hat free. This is the food bucket I designed here. It comes with 2 NREs, nutrition ready to eat. So they're like MREs. And then my favorite, which is the hearty apple cinnamon oatmeal, hearty lasagna, the creamy chocolate shake. This is something you can eat on the move, drink on the move, get nutrients on the move. And then the peanut butter bars. And you get in this kit. And I got a video showing like what I would load out the kit with. And also use my code. You can actually use this code for everything on site. So if you just want to go buy a couple cans, if you can't afford the big kit, just go buy a can or two. Just get a discount. Just make sure you use a code so you don't pay full price. And also, we're talking about, trying to push gun culture because, they're trying to take them away. Let's normalize it. We had this new shirt launch tonight, the SBR Suppressed. See it here. It's in heavy metal gray, kind of like the old concert tees, if you will. That's why we chose this color. But you can see it there in the store tonight. This is part of the Arsenal collection. So this is limited edition. After this goes, we won't have this one again, but we will have future ones, kind of like the Patriot collection, how we would, go through and you get to get those shirts. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed hanging out with me tonight. Grim look. Let me know your comments on these. What do you think about the container ships? That's very scary to say the least. And what are your predictions? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think Taiwan will be the boiling point? I think it personally will. Or what else could it be? They'll probably destroy China. I mean, Japan. We got military bases there. They'll probably just totally obliterate that. But the thing is what kind of damage will happen prior to us responding is the situation. Like what kind of damage? Because I don't think we would do first strike. We never do. We used to, but we became very cowardly. We let people run over us, So anyhow, guys, tribe members, we'll see you over there in the late night after party chat. So go hang out with us over there. If you want to go hang out and talk with us, join the tribe down below, link below, go to the community tab, hit the tribe link, and go chat with us. We'll go talk about China. What is everyone's predictions over there? And we'll see the tribe members over there. Good to see you guys. And as always, remember to stay frosty, stay strapped, stay dangerous. Take care.